So, didn't you all just want to have some funny shield animations like this? Have an object like this phaser beam interact with a shield, or these beautiful particles hit the shield. Well, there are tutorials out there, but I'll make another one. Make a new project. Add a cute monkey. Add something to kill the monkey. Like an icosphere. Move it a bit away. So we see a monkey that needs protection. What do we do? Right, we are making a shield. So we scale up an icosphere, subdivide it like 4 times, shade smooth. So we see, if we go into shading, set an HDRI, this is Gaffer. Gaffer is cool. I don't like this bathroom. I don't like a Milky Way. This is broken. This is beautiful. So we have a beautiful, beautiful scene with a beautiful, beautiful subdivided icosphere, which is the wrong way to make a high resolution icosphere. If you want to know, the right way is to make a mesh, go to mesh, make icosphere, and turn up the subdivisions here, like set it to 8, and make my computer die. So we've got this beautiful icosphere with this atrociously high amount of vertices. As you can see, it's a lot. So we go into object view mode, and now we're gonna set a material, of course. So shields are normally see-through, at least the ones that I like. So I go and add a glass BSDF. But oh look, it looks weird and it's ugly and I don't like it, so I make a solidify modifier to essentially double the icosphere. If we look into wireframe mode, we can't see anything because there's just too much information. But you can see there's a little gap here, and that's here. You can see a little gap that makes it that you can actually see through the glass fairly nicely, and it makes reflections and it's very, very pretty. Then we have this beautiful sphere, and we want to make this glass sphere interact with the sphere. As in, when the sphere hits the glass sphere, we want the glass sphere to notice it. So we go into layout and just move the sphere through the glass sphere. Go to like 15 frames, move it through there, set a keyframe. Save as something. And look at this beautiful animation. I'm a magician. Next thing is to explain what we're actually doing. What we're gonna do is take a vertex color. So if we make a vertex color map, we assign every one of this atrocious amount of vertices a color, an RGB value. So we set color, we change the name to like proximity. And now we have to make something that paints on this proximity map. So this is a blank map, it's black. If you look at it, we can look at it by making an attribute node and say proximity. It's white actually, that's disconcerting. Might be white by default. I actually never looked at it this way. So we make it a dynamic paint canvas by pressing add canvas and set the output to this proximity map. And now we can see beauty. So I'm just going to use the wet map layer because I like the wet map better than the paint map. Though I haven't really I don't understand either very well. So we're gonna set the dry time to 5, so how long it's gonna take the paint, the thing to dry, and deactivate slow mode because slow mode makes the scale algorithmic and inverted and something. I don't know. I didn't read the description. I mean, I did, but only flew by it. We're gonna make a brush. Set the brush to white. This is not strictly necessary, but I think it's smart. And I can see I should go out of this mode. Actually, I don't want to go out of this mode, but I can go into material preview mode. So we're gonna use proximity to dictate the effect that the sphere has on this paint layer. And the closer the sphere is, the more white, you can see it's getting white here. The sphere goes through and you can see it slowly dries. This whiteness disappears. If you set this time longer, you will see it holds longer than before. How wonderful. I mean, it's lagging as hell, but whatever. No one's gonna notice. Except I just told you, so you're all gonna notice. If you set this distance to a low value, you can see it's a smaller circle. Yeah, and the same happens on the other side. Now, this thing has 160k vertices. This is a lot. And in my opinion, it is too much. But the result is good. I'm gonna show you later how to fix this. First of all, how do we do the material? We're gonna take a transparent BSDF and mix it together with the glass BSDF. And if you look at it, we get an ugly result because we're in UV. But if you look at it like this, it's very weird. So we stop it being very weird. And we can look at it. Now, whenever the sphere hits the glass, it's gonna turn transparent. It's hard to see because it turned the proximity down, like very far down. So let's look at it with a high proximity. You can see nothing. Really. Let's just make this not transparent, but like emission. And you can see it's emitting light. So wherever the sphere was, the shield is gonna emit light. And I'm gonna change this glass to I'm gonna change the input direction. So the glass is where the sphere got hit, where the shield got hit, and the transparent is where it didn't get hit. And now we can look at it. And you can see the sphere hits, projectile hits the glass, and the glass, the shield, and the shield turns into glass. And of course, instead of glass, you could choose to take a principled BSDF and make it metal. So whenever the sphere hits the shield, it's got to turn a metal. And to make it a bit more pronounced, you can always do something like put not a vertex color, but a color ramp. Also, put a color ramp in here and clamp this down. And you can see if we turn down the roughness, this is a metal. And actually, I quite like that. So the sphere comes, hits the glass, and it turns into metal. On the other side, it is the same. So now we know how to create it. How do we make it actually work? Because we've got 400,000 vertices in this scene. That is quite a lot. And I don't like having a lot of vertices in my scene. And it's not the fault of the scene, it's the fault of this ugly sphere. I mean, the monkey, did I actually apply the... Oh no, sorry. The monkey is a bit high, but it's not a lot. The real troublemaker is the sphere. As you can see, 300,000 vertices and 8,000. So these two objects are 8,000 vertices. The sphere is 330,000. 328,000. Whatever. So we're gonna change the sphere. And you might think, let's take a sphere with less resolution, like 4 subdivisions. Do the same thing, shade smooth, make a solidifier, put a solidifier modifier on it, and change it to be the shield. Then we need, of course need to do the wet painting mode, the painting mode again. So add canvas, set the web map layer to the now non-existent vertex color. So set it to proximity. And add proximity here. Wrong way around. And if we let it run now, you should see, if we put this to 5 again, you should see it does the same thing. But if you look at it, it's quite hard to see. Yeah, you can see it. Let's make this a bit sharper. A lot sharper. I mean, it's very low resolution in the first place, so let's put a subdivision modifier on it. And you can see I didn't make it sharp enough. Ooh, trippy. Very trippy. You can see this jagged edges, and I don't like them. If you look into the Vertex Color mode, we can see what happens. We have this very low resolution thing. So we can put the dynamic paint later, but it's still not very pretty. So what we can do, and also it's very much slower, if we calculate the paint with a lot of vertices. So what we can do is not use Vertex Color mode. Vertex Color mode has the advantage that it is live, so we can just create a new object like this wonderful cube and just add a dynamic paintbrush with like some color, make it mesh volume and proximity, and we see our cube is affecting our mesh in real time. We just have to change frame one, change the frame a bit. But as we said, with low resolution meshes, which many ship shields don't have to be high resolution if we're gonna use it as a shield, this is not very pretty. So the way we're gonna do this is not use vertex color mode. So we're gonna remove the proximity vertex color and this attribute node and wait on this side. And I'm gonna change this to format image sequence. Now we don't have a paint map vertex color output, we have an image sequence output. So we can say cache dynamic paint, set our UV map. We need a UV map to map the image textures onto the mesh. So we're just gonna say smart UV project. It doesn't have to be nice. You can also use light map pack or whatever you want. You can UV and map it in your way. But what we have to do is select a UV map, select the file format. It is really up to you if you want PNG or OpenEXR. And select web map because I've got the settings for the web map in. If you want to use the paint map, I don't really know the difference yet. You can use this dissolve, that does the same as the dry. Or you can use both, wherever you would do that. So we've set a folder. This is relative to the blend file, so next to the blend file there will be a cache dynamic paint folder. We've got our settings all sussed in. So we can say big image sequence. This is gonna take a while, but it's also quite low resolution. And it's 250 frames, so you don't have to have this high or low of a resolution. Anyways, we're gonna go add, Shift A if you don't know, add texture image sequence. Then we're gonna... Right, I probably overwrote some... Ew. I didn't know it's so ugly. I probably just overwrote my old paint jobs. No, I actually used paint map there. But you can see, you saw it there. You have some effect from the sphere. So we're gonna import the image sequence, plug it into here, and if you look at it, it's beautiful. So this is the image sequence that's created, and you can see it's not dependent on the resolution of your map. Right. I'm gonna say auto refresh, and you can see it all should work now. Sadly, this is not real time. This has to be baked. So if we want to move our shield to the side like this, we'd have to rebake the image sequence. And I found that changing this setting works very well to reset the to reset the image sequence, refresh the image sequence. So we see this sphere has its effect on our shield, and it dries off. And of course we can just make our shield have this. Now you can see the resolution of the texture. So if you look at the texture, if I can find it, it's 256 by 256 pixels. And you can see that. It's quite low resolution. And you can up the resolution, and that's the advantage of image sequence over vertex mode. You're not restricted to the resolution of the map mesh. You can just change the resolution, rebake it, and right, we have it. We're gonna change to linear, no, not linear, sRGB, and you can see it's high resolution now. Yeah, that's why I'd always use image textures. Now, if you have something like, oh god, if you have a particle emitter, like a plane, that likes to shoot particles, let's go into layout mode because it's easier to work with it. Make a particle system, say velocity fast, say physics, no wait, field weights, gravity none, and look at it, it shoots particles. Who would have thought? And if these particles now hit this mesh, it doesn't care. But we can make it care by setting going to the physics tab, making it dynamic paint brush, add a brush, and set it to particle system. Select our particle system, use particle radius. That's not really necessary, but I do like using particle radius. What this does is setting the radius that we had for this sphere that's somewhere in here. We have this distance. It sets the distance to the particle's radius, but you can make it bigger or smaller, whatever you need. And yeah, if you have these particles shooting through, these are quite tame and slow. Let's make them a bit faster. Right. We have these particles shooting through, and we've got this problem that some aren't recognized. And I haven't found a 100% and a 100% fix for this, but we can minimize it by setting the sub-steps to a higher value. So if we look at it, we can see nothing. That is quite curious. Also, let's render them as an object. Object. That one sphere here. and make them a bit bigger. Like this. Oh, I didn't rebake. Of course. Did I set it to the vertex? Let's delete all cache and bake all dynamics. Oh, I'm just... Okay, never mind. You of course have to set the output to a paint map. A Vertex Color Map, sorry. Like procs. Of course I forgot that. Set the output here to procs. And only use wetmap because I like wetmap. And go into shading workspace. Actually, let's not delete that. Yeah, actually, let's keep it. And say vertex color. We can plug this color into our mix shader and choose our proximity. If we look at the color here, we will see the party, and you can see that's not really as many particles as there should be. At least I think. Yeah, this is not what it should look like. I found that increasing the substeps did help a bit in some cases, not a lot though. So this is essentially it. It can do particles, it can do objects, it can really do anything you like. It's quite magnificent. I like it. And of course, you can always do something like first of all, get a color ramp involved. Then you can see how ugly low resolution your vertex mode is. And you can take a mix RGB, not a mix shader, mix RGB. Actually, let's take a math node. I think that works better. Put the color into one input. Select multiply. And take a noise texture. Plug it in the other input. Scale it around. Maybe add a color ramp there too. Make the contrast a bit harsher. Like you can play around. I think you're competent enough. I don't know you, but I think you're gonna be competent enough to use a color ramp. Noise texture. So yeah, you can see now the shield is using this noise texture as some shield effect, and you can sort of a principled BSDF. You can take an emission and use that for use that for the shield. Maybe turn this down. And turn down the scale like this. Maybe swoop. Beautiful. Whoop. So that's the shield effect, really. That's all there is. Of course, you can, as you saw in my other project, you can use phasers or cylinders to be precise. Just add a dynamic paintbrush. Remember to have the canvas set. Here I used 1024 resolution image, so it's not real time, sadly, because real time on this mesh is already high resolution and it's still not enough to look any good. Maybe I didn't think of something, but I don't know how to fix it. But yeah, you can see the shield reacts to these particles and these phases. Fully automatic. How amazing.